There are many aspects to sim racing, some mystical, some practical. An example of the latter are drop races. Without drop races, real-world obligations often leaves a championship decided not by best performance, but rather by best attendance. Enter into the conversation Brendan Rogers. The Carmelito Cannonball. He's missed the first round, which severely hurt his rank on the early point standings, but drivers do not get credit for every event they enter. No, they're forced to drop two. In effect, are scored only on their best 10 of 12. Taking that into account, the aforementioned 22-year-old from California is looking down on his competition. That includes raw point leader Aiden Perdue. The CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship wraps up the first half of the schedule at Knoxville. The round 6 car of choice is the winged 410 sprint car, and you can see all the simulated dirt track action live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hawkeye State, hello and welcome. Joe Peak joins yours truly, Bill Soupzon, way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view. Sean Crackers Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Okay, Joe, I almost didn't make it to the broadcast because Peggy, the GSRC travel secretary, accidentally booked me on a flight to Tennessee. Wrong Knoxville, Miss Olson, but we figured it out and I am indeed here, but clearly I don't know much about this place, so can you help me out?
Well, I guess Peggy's not a sprint car fan because any of our sprint car fans that are watching certainly didn't get lost. When they call it the sprint car capital of the world, they might actually be legitimately able to claim that. I mean, it's got the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum just outside of Turn 2. And honestly, history here runs deep. Just taking into account that the track itself has been around since before the 20th century as a horse racing track gives it plenty of pages. Then add in that car racing has been happening regularly since the 50s. And on top of that, the Knoxville Nationals, which is widely considered the biggest and most prestigious sprint car event in the U.S., has been taking place here since the 60s. I mean, come on. But enough pontificating about the history. The track itself is an interesting beast. With it being only 8 degrees on the banking, it's very, very flat. However, this is another half mile. And even with the power of the 410s and the shallow banking, it's still easily flat out when the track is fresh. What really sets it apart is the way that the driving of it changes drastically as it all slicks off. We're going to see drivers slowly climb to the top side, and then suddenly when there's nothing left in it, everyone will be scrambling anywhere on the super slick surface to find some semblance of grip. Expect this track to build us up to a wild one in the end, Bill.
I cannot wait. If the beginning of this series, the first 5 rounds are indication what we're in store for, I think we're looking at something really fun to watch. Let's go ahead and take a look at the driver standings right now. We talked about it in the opening. Now let's take a closer look. Notice the droplets above the column on the points. One drop is highlighted, the other is dark. That means the GSRC stat boys, Simon and Poindexter, have crunched the numbers, allowing for each driver to drop his or her worst race. In short, these are the best 4 or 5 totals. Now, next round, the boys will show drivers with both drop races accounted for. The solo individual droplet by each driver's row there shows that driver's highest dropped race. So what does it all mean? Well, Brendan Rogers sits 5th in the raw points, but because he gets to drop a 0, he tops everyone. He's never been beaten in a heat, 4 for 4, and has 2 feature wins. Aiden Perdue is 17 points back. With 2 main event wins, Perdue has 88 points in his pocket he can use if disaster strikes here at Knoxville. Chance Crum is hunting his first feature win. That's not the case for 13-year-old Corey Day, who has a win in round 2. And then the guy down in 5th, that is Chad Wheeler. He is the most consistent of all the drivers out there, scoring big in almost every race as he sits in 5th. Quickly, let's go ahead and look at one of the interesting championships. That is the Clausen Marshall Hard Charger Award. We're going to talk about one driver in particular, the guy at the top. That is Cody Stidham. Now, Stidham sits 14th in the championship, but man, he has been exciting. He has put on quite a show. I even believe he has a heat race win. So keep an eye on him. He's fun to watch when we go racing today. Joe, that's the drivers. How about we talk about the event details?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, we are now halfway through the season, and we've switched back to the sprint car. Once again, the 410 winged sprint. The setups in these cars are fixed, so they don't really have to worry about fiddling around with that. They're all going to be starting on an even playing field there. You can see they have a couple heats, then they have the semifinals to decide who can make their sort of last chance run to get into the A-main, and then, of course, the A-main, the finale, the feature race. They have $2,000 up for grabs as well over the course of the season, Bill. So there is plenty to vie for, and that's why the pressure is on.
And the amount of heats and the transfers positions depend on the size of the field. They've opened it up today. They've invited a few new drivers to come in. We have some hot shots. We have some real young drivers, I think, as young as even 8 years old out there. So some future Jeff Gordon's going to head and race with us. I think practice is done right now. We're just about ready to go to qualifying. A good field. Remember, there are a prize for qualifying as well. If you're the fastest qualifier, not only do you sit on the pole in the very first heat, but you also win the Pit Logic Quick Time Award and Starting Grid. Pit Logic is the most comprehensive chassis and stock setup application on the market, available on Google Play and Apple App Store. Check them out at competitionsuspension.com/CSI-Logic-app. It is a fun app. It looks like it's really, really cool. All right, the racing is just starting right now for qualifying. Everybody gets to go out there and put in a time.
Absolutely. And again, 3 laps that they have to try and put in. We're just starting to get some of the times in now. So it's going to change a lot for the moment, and a bunch are trickling in. Looks like Logan Rumsey is. Oh no, I take that back. Carter Leak is gonna be able to beat him to the top, Bill.
Getting up there, we look at that. Brendan Rogers now sitting up there at the very top. No surprise there. Brendan, probably a better driver than he is, a racer than he is a qualifier. He hasn't been beat in a heat race, but not only has, I think, 1 pole fastest qualifying award.
And the track has already been pretty worn in because of the warm-up. They've switched it. They've basically prepped it back to about 25%. So it's still mostly a high line that you're seeing here in the qualifying. Apologizing for losing picture. We're going to get that back in a moment. So we've already kind of missed some of the low-line shenanigans. And what'll be really fascinating, Bill, is once we get more of these heats underway, really kind of which route will be the most taken. Like I said, it's just as soon as they've used up all of the track, it's kind of anybody's game, and wherever you can try and search around and find the grip, because there won't be much.
All the big names are here. Aiden Perdue, Chance Crum, Corey Day, Chad Wheeler.
In fact, Wheeler just put his first time in, and it wasn't so hot. He's all the way down 34th. Let's see if he can improve on that with a 16.6. Fast guys are running sub-16s. Only to a 16.5.
New name we haven't heard from, Alex Bergeron up here, racing in the number 25 machine. I believe this will be his first start of the season. Again, they opened it up to a few new names. Keep the car counts up. Make sure we get a full slate of racing.
I think just a couple drivers left. I see Jake Erickson just coming out. One of the tricky bits about this track is not just finding the grip, Bill, but also there's a berm to the inside. And the reason that that's tough is it's very difficult to see, especially here at night. The depth perception isn't always the greatest, and there's not a lot. It's a subtle berm, but it's enough of a berm that'll really upset the car if you hit it. So you got to stay away from it. You got to know just about right where it is and be willing to ride low early on. Looks like we don't have that as much anymore because the low line's already been slicked off. But once drivers will return to the low line, it will be a concern.
If you haven't seen one of these broadcasts before, it's a busy, busy broadcast with action followed by action followed by action.
So
Big field
Ericsson's
tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Ericsson just getting his third lap in and does not improve, unfortunately.
I think we have 42 drivers here today. And with that out of the way, it looks like we're ready for... Nope, are we still in qualifying? Guess we still are. I thought we heard everyone coming in.
But I think qualifying is up, so are you
Good,
able
huh?
to hand out that pole award?
I believe it's going to go today to the newcomer, Alex Bergerun's going to pick up some points on that one. Racing in his number 25 machine. Congratulations to him. And with that said, let's tell you about what's coming up here. Heat number 1 is sponsored by Joe's Racing Product, designing and manufacturing quality and innovative race products right here in the USA. Find out more about them at joesracing.com. You can see how far we're going. This is an 8-lap race, as will be all of our heats. The top 2 will transfer, and there are no yellow flags. This is Ben-Hur Racing. Joe, what's our grid?
Grid is Alec Bergeron coming over from the pros, and of course naturally gets pole. Corey Day will be next to him in second. Then it's Ryan Gaunt on the inside of row 2, some starting 4th. Avery Goodman will be P5, and then Bo Brandon P6. Aiden Perdue, surprising to see him this far down, starting 7th. Carson Batterby 8th, and Matt Kaiser is not here today, so he will not be racing.
There you see the grid. We're set to race. We're going to only have 8 out there, I believe. While we have this opportunity, we haven't really had a chance to talk about the weather. Can we bring that up real quick, Joe? Let's see if it has a little bit of effect on the drivers here.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool, so it's not as much of a worry today. 70 degrees out, so should be pretty easy on the drivers.
Race control, getting everybody in line, telling them we don't want anybody lagging back. He wants everybody to stay nice and close. Alex Bergeron, car number 25. Let's get to know him. I believe this is his first appearance. Corey Day is going to be outside of him. Sits inside the top 5 in the points. Top 2 will advance. Round number 6. The CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship. We are at the halfway point. Listening to race control, get them all in line, telling everybody to get lined up nicely, hoping to get a nice clean race in is what they're calling for. Keep an eye on Aiden Perdue on the inside of the very back there in car number 37. Leads all drivers in raw points. Very active race control, gets them all in line. It's time to go racing! The first heat. Alex Bergeron out in front, being chased by veteran Corey Day of this series. Ryan Gaunt on the inside of Day now, getting that 27 underneath.
You're going to see a few different lines attempted. Ryan Gaunt coming in a little shallow, trying to wash up high. And it worked out at first, but you can see now that same thing is happening to him. And Axum, barely gets by him.
Emerson Axum side by side with Day with Gaunt for third position. Axum now in front. Day's comfortably in second. Running away with it is our fastest qualifier, Alex Bergeron. Out in front, coming across, working lap number 4 right now.
This is pretty much expected with Bergeron's experience working the pro dirt side. You can see the difference in the talent level. Really, the battle seems to be for third.
And lurking back in 5th position in that fluorescent blue machine, that's Aiden Perdue. Gaunt on the top side, Axum down below. They continue to fight. Here comes Perdue.
And you could see they're both Axum sliding way up high, nearly gets into Gaunt. And you can see they're trying not to enter the corner where it's slicked off, where it's shiny like that. That's all the rubber put down. That's actually not grippy when you're racing dirt.
Gaunt works his way up to fourth for a minute, then he loses it. Goodman well back, looking on. Purdue and Axum in a battle.
Purdue's hugging that low line really well, and it's not working too bad. He's just having trouble getting the shot off the corner, but we got to go to the lead, Bill.
White flag lap for Alex Bergeron working through corner number 4. He'll advance. Joe, as will Corey Day.
Then after that, it'll be Ryan Gaunt, Emerson Axum 4th. Actually, no, Purdue beat him to the line, it looks like. Axum took 5th, Goodman 6th, Batterby 7th, and Brandon will finish last on the field.
Heat number 2 brought to you by Factor 1 Micro Sprint Chassis. They have been providing an unfair advantage for over 30 years. For more information, check them out at factor1racing.com. Joe?
Brendan Rogers has got the pole this time. Colin Mitchell will be starting second. Then you've got Chance Crum on the second row to the inside with Jake Erickson outside of him. Heath Smith, of course, starting P5. Dustin Davidson in 6th. And then Matt Moore 7th. Evan Spalding starts in 8th. And Grayson Springer looks like actually will be gridding up. So 9-car field for this one.
Big names in this heat, of course, Brendan Rogers. We talked about him in the opening. Leads when we take into one drop race accounted for. Has yet to be beaten in a heat 4 for 4. Chance Crum, though, very competitive. Going to be starting on the inside of row 2. Behind him, Indy number 83 machine.
Pretty clean racing from what we saw. It is mostly flat out still in these conditions. You shouldn't really be needing to lift. It'll all be your line and just running around up and down the hill trying to figure out where's the fastest line at this point, Bill. Like I said, once everything fully slicks off is when the real test of skill comes out.
They made the invites to some new drivers to make sure we got a full slate of racing, and indeed we do. 5 heats scheduled today, 3 semis, and then the main event. 2 will qualify from each of the heats, and 2 will qualify from each of the 3 semis, giving us 16 cars in our feature. Colin Mitchell, we don't know a lot about him. We'll see what he can do in the number 68. Chance Crum has been there every round so far.
Temperature's looking about the same as it has been. No real change out there.
The truck pulls in. Time to go racing. It's under control to Brendan Rogers. Great jump from Rogers. He leads the other cars behind. Chance Crum, we talked about it from the number 3rd spot, scoots up into 2nd position. Mitchell, Erickson, on the hunt is the 29 of Dustin Davidson back there. Watch out for him.
Erickson had a great run through 1 and 2 on that first lap. Got himself a nice little position. He is being challenged by Davidson on the low line, but that low line through 1 and 2 does not look like it's working as they streak away from him.
Smith, you see that blue car farther back in a battle for 5th position with Dustin Davidson. The front 4 cars begin to pull away. Crum in the spot he needs to be right now in 2nd. Colin Mitchell looking on, seeing if he can get that transfer spot. They'll be working lap number 4 as they come across the line right now.
And it may look like that cushion is pretty high up at this point. It's actually going to get higher than that at certain points, Bill. It'll be inches from the wall later on in the race. Drivers will really have to flirt with it once things get slipped over.
Crum with about a 3-car length lead on Mitchell. Mitchell got a little bit of attack from Jake Erickson. That didn't work. Erickson falls off now. Mitchell won't have anything to worry about except what's in front of him. Working lap number 6.
Rogers is just running a perfect race up there at the top. Yeah, just basically controlling things. He doesn't look challenged at all.
2 more laps to go. Rogers yet to be beat in a heat race. Looks like that's going to continue. Chance Crum now begins to open it up on Colin Mitchell. Even though Mitchell may not transfer, this third position is going to help him when it comes to getting a grid in his semi. White flag is out.
Crum's taking an interesting line through 3 and 4. He's starting up high. He cuts it down, diamonds off the end, but it's working.
Out of the final corner, winning his 5th heat in a row, Brendan Rogers. Chance Crum gets 2nd.
Looks like it's going to be Mitchell 3rd, Ericsson 4th, Davidson 5th, Moore 6th, and then 7th goes to Heath Smith. Evan Spalding finishes 8th, and Grayson Springer rounds out the finishing of the field.
Even though the drivers in 3rd farther back did not transfer, they will get a chance in the semi. It's time for heat number 3. This one comes your way thanks to WR1 Sims, built by racers for racers. WR1 Sim are the choice of industry professionals like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. You want to know where to get a hold of them? WheelerMetals.com.
On the pole for this one, Bill, Parker Leak starting it off. Corbin Hazlett to the outside of him. Kenny Miller starts P3 and Jet Barnes in 4th. Then in row 3, Cannon Posey, P5. It'll be Chase Randall in 6th. Outside of him, Tyler Ransbottom 7th, and Chad Wheeler starting 8th of the 8 cars.
Looking through here, we do not see a lot of big names. Chad Wheeler, probably the best well-known name, sitting way back there in 7th.
Yeah, like I said, during qualifying, I was a little surprised at Wheeler. Maybe he didn't have enough practice time in here, as they did have a little bit of a truncated practice, so some drivers might be something out of sorts coming into this one.
We talked about a lot of youth in this race. Cannon Posey, 8 years old.
Whew. Can you see over the wheel?
I just watched an interview with Tony Stewart last night. He talked about racing really young, him and Jeff Gordon.
And for those wondering why we have Alex Bergeron racing in here today, he's actually sponsored by CSI in the iRacing Outlaws series, hence why they've invited him in.
Well, that was a good invitation. All right, truck coming around, pulls in. Oh, an early jump from Parker Leak. Kenny Miller comfortably in 2nd. There is a battle for 3rd, though, between 3 cars. That orange car is Corbin Hazlett. He's going to be in 3rd. Jeff Barnes on right behind him. Down low, Chase Randall.
Small correction, Hazlett and the red car, Miller and the orange. Oh, and Hazlett has to take evasive action. He goes way low as they go 3 wide, and we got our first tangle for the day. Hazlett comes out the worst of it.
His day is done. Apologies, I was looking at the right cars, my rods and cones. Why do I even bother? Parker Leak, Kenny Miller, and that number 11 is clearly an orange car. And I can get the next
Miller's
color right.
Definitely orange.
Jet Barnes back there in a mainly a white car chasing.
Blue, actually, but
Oh, give me a break.
it's a light blue. I'll give you. I can give you a break on that. The battle really is for 5th. Chase Randall and Chad Wheeler. And don't forget, actually, they're starting to catch up to Cannon Posey. He may be young, but he's handling one of the biggest cars, most powerful cars, very well.
Posey and Chase Randall, a battle for 4th. No battle up front. The top 3 are really separated. This is where the action is. Diving down low, Chase Randall comes up in front. Posey says, I got this, and he goes underneath him.
And you're starting to see it, Bill. Look at how much closer to that outside wall the cushion is getting. Thinner and thinner until, like I said, you're probably going to be looking about a foot between where the outside tire is and the wall is.
Another good dance. Posey goes underneath. Randall tries to come back. The leaders are on the white flag lap. Randall again underneath, and there goes Posey, but we got to turn our attention up front. Coming out of corner number 4, winning heat number 3, Parker Leak. Kenny Miller also advances.
After him, it's going to be Jet Barnes. Cannon Posey with a nice top 4, though he doesn't manage, or no, he finished 6th, it looks like. Chase Randall takes 4th, Wheeler 5th, Posey 6th, Ransbottom 7th. Hazlett did make it back out on track, but he was way down the order.
3 heats down, 2 to go as we move on to the Chalk Sticks heats number 4. Let's talk a little bit about them. Offering the best torsion bar money can buy to the micro sprint, midget, and sprint car markets. Chalksticks.com. Joe?
The grid is going to have Logan Rumsey starting on the pole. Gary Gibson is going to be in 2nd, and James Andrechuk P3. Then it's Tyler Rust starting 4th with Preston Perlmutter 5th and Hunter Brady P6. Christopher Townsend starts in 7th. Brandon McCullen rounds out the field of 8 cars.
A lot of familiar names in this heat. Nobody who has really set themselves apart from anybody. This will be fun. Maybe an opportunity for somebody to pick up their first heat win. Rumsey in the number 13. We ride on board with Andrechuk, looking up at Rumsey.
You can see the front of the car lifting up when he gets on the power. That's pretty common with these cars. You can actually do a wheelie in these things, believe it or not, even on dirt, Bill. They just have that much grip and power.
Tyler Rust back there in the 21. God bless him for his paint scheme. Let me take a shot at this one. Blue and yellow. I gotta got that one right.
Yes, that's what it is.
Napa colors. All right. Truck is in. Another good jump from the pole sitter, Logan, out in front, leaving everybody behind. Boy, sit on the inside of row 1, you get a good jump. Battle
Gibson.
for second. Yeah,
Gibson looked horrible. He's all the way down in 4th, so he's got to fight his way back up. He was in a transfer spot on the grid, but not anymore.
That transfer spot now belongs to James Andrechuk.
Perlmutter is up and over, and I think he's going to be able to get the car going once again, but he's got to have some incredible damage after that ride.
Going right underneath him was Tyler Rust. Rust continues. Meanwhile, this battle.
Gibson.
Yeah. Oh, he gets a little bit loose, loses a little bit of time there. Rumsey and Andrechuk racing for the lead.
This is the point of the track evolution where it starts to get a little bit frustrating when it's this high up. It's so hard to pass because everybody's just rim riding, and you almost have to force your competitor off that top line if you want to get by.
Well, we've seen the pass made. They can dive it in deep. The problem is they're not able to hold it off the corner. As they work lap number 5, we enter see if Andrechuk is happy in second or if he makes a stab at this one. It's worth several starting positions in the main event.
Certainly is. I mean, and it's also less risk. The less you have to race your way into the finale, the better. So you want to get through on your heat races and not in the semis.
Well, try as he might, he's running out of time. 2 to go. I must admit that both those cars look very comfortable in the line they are racing. As is everybody else. The only driver trying to go low, Tyler Rust in 4th, trying to experiment a little bit. White flag. This heat was probably the most spread out, the less competitive of the 4 we've seen so far. 1 to go after this one. Coming out of corner number 4. Winning heat number 4, Logan Rumsey. James Andrechuk gets the transfer spot.
It's like Gibson, unfortunately, is going to have to race his way in from 3rd. 4th to Tyler Rust. Hunter Brady 5th. Christopher Townsend 6th. Perlmutter 7th. And McCollum rounds out the field multiple laps down.
4 heats are done, 1 to go. This one comes your way thanks to JPM Precision Machines, building quality quarter midgets and junior sprint parts right in the heart of Oklahoma. JPM Precision Mac, MACH.com. Joseph?
Jonathan Schaefer will be on the pole, and Carter Batterby, the other Batterby, will be starting on the outside of that front row. Then Sean Mahaffey will be in third, Colton Collins P4, and Kobe Stidham in fifth. Reed Whitney is on the outside of that row in sixth, with Bryce Lucius starting seventh, and Ryan Mitchell, another full 8-car field.
Stidham, of course, the hard charger that I talked about, always puts on a good show racing. Bryce Lucius, 12 years old. Racing out of Ohio, Joe, your home state.
Ah, there we go. Ohio has quite a bit of history in dirt racing. So I'm curious to see if anybody is going to start trying to use maybe a little bit of a chop off of turn 2 and turn 4. That's probably going to be one of your best hopes, is if you can get a shot off of those, find a little bit of grip coming slightly low off of those, you can get a run down and maybe pull a slide job into 1 or 3. But it's going to be risky and it's going to be tough to do.
Nobody has had anything for the driver on the inside of row 1 when it comes to starting these heat races. Let's see if that's the case again for Jonathan Schaefer. There he goes! And look at that, the outside of row 1, Carter Batterby, he's going to lose at least 1 position, probably 2, to Sean McAfee and Kobe Stidham. Here comes Stidham again. Mahaffey up in second.
Stidham was on that low line, just couldn't find the grip, and he's still trying it. He's seeing if he can make it work. Credit to him, as everybody else, you can see the top 3 getting awful close, way up there on the high side.
You got to figure if you're leading the hard charger category, you're probably good at racing where nobody else can, and he's trying to demonstrate what he needs to do. Schaefer, Mahaffey, and Batterby.
Remember, Batterby started in second. He's really going to want that back. It's just a credit to the 44 for really getting the jump off the corner or off the start line and slotting into that position. This will make life a whole lot easier for Mahaffey.
Racing has been relatively tame tonight, and I think it has a lot to do with the nature of the track. Carter Batterby trying to go down low, see if there's anything down there for him.
Eventually this top line will get worn out, and at that point then you'll start to see some drivers start to go back down low, but right now it's too slicked up.
Yeah, everybody resigned to race around the top side. Working lap number 6, Jonathan Schaefer, Sean Mahaffey behind him. He's got about 10 car lengths back to Carter Batterby. Looking at the leader right now, I can tell you that Colton Collins and Bryce Lucius are in a nice little battle.
Love
2
this
to go.
Really shows you how much they have to. They're still working on the wheel. It's still about being smooth, Bill, but you're doing a lot of work up there.
White flag. Looking at that battle a little farther back, and now that battle is over. We watched them race a little farther behind. Going into corner number 3 for the final time, it's Jonathan Schaefer out of corner number 4. Nothing but the finish line and the transfer position for him as it goes to Sean Mahaffey as well.
Batterby is going to be a little upset with himself after that third place. Kobe Stidham 4th, and Bryce Lucius P5. Colton Collins 6th, Reed Whitney 7th, and Ryan Mitchell rounds. Nope, Ryan Mitchell got 7th. Whitney, unfortunately, looks like wrecked out at the end. Will take it 8th position.
And now it's time for the first of our 3 semis. This one comes your way thanks to Allgaier Performance Parts, your one-stop shop for everything high performance in the Midwest. Check those guys out if you can. Notice that we're going 10 laps this time. If you like the action, we'll go a little bit farther. Still no yellow flags. Top 2 will advance this time as we have a full slate of 5 heats and 3 semis. Joe?
Indeed, and Ryan Gaunt will be starting in one of those transfer spots with Gary Gibson the only other one there on the front row. Jake Erickson is going to be eager to try to get the jump like we saw last race. He starts P3. Kobe Stidham in 4th with Chad Wheeler starting P5. Then you've got Avery Goodman in 6th and Christopher Townsend starting 7th. The next row after Heath Smith starts with Brian Mitchell and Corbin Hazlett. Remember, the wild ride that he went for will be all the way at the back of the field.
Stidham and Wheeler probably the biggest names in the heat. Ryan Gaunt, very quick in his heat as he sits on the pole here. And, of course, Gary Gibson. Inside of row 2, Jake Erickson. Let's see what he has up his sleeve. Long way to go for these guys in the back.
And we haven't refreshed this track yet for anybody wondering. This is all still build up over all of those heat races, and now it's going to continue to build all the way to the finale.
Ryan Gaunt racing out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. I did get the news. I don't believe he's here today. We did pick up our first international drivers. We have somebody racing out of Tasmania. I thought that's fun.
Ooh, very cool. Yeah, the Australian and New Zealand scene has a very popular dirt racing scene. In fact, a lot of drivers from there come over here during their off-season, and a lot of drivers here go there during our off-season. The advantages of being on opposite hemispheres.
There you go. All right, race control wants everybody nice and tight. The truck is in. Once again, the pole position creates a good jump, and the outside of row 1 does not. Gary Gibson is gobbled up.
We got a caution.
We have a yellow. They didn't like the start. They're going to throw the yellow because they did not like the start.
It was very messy at the back. And in fact, we had one car get turned around. It was Ryan Mitchell, unfortunately, and I think he got enough damage that he's taken it into the pits.
Well, let's go ahead. We have this opportunity under yellow to maybe take a quick look at a replay. Let's see if our director can pull this up. This format really doesn't give us much chance to do this. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, that you'll see that they had it 3 wide in certain parts, and some drivers were going, some drivers weren't. See, look at that. It should be very clear roads when everybody gets on the pedal. That was not the case.
So they'll try it again. Race control apologizing for the yellow, but said we had to do it again. Now we're looking at it one more time. Take a look at Mitchell. Oh,
that was Hazlett getting him.
Slap across the face there. All right, we're going to try this one more time. These laps will count.
One of those things that a lot of drivers have called for on iRacing that they do in dirt racing is that usually in dirt racing, caution laps do not count in a lot of series.
Yep.
Fortunately, they don't have the ability to do that yet in iRacing, but from what I understand, they are looking into it.
Boy, that's a double-edged sword. Put that rule in some series, and Joe, you and I would never get to go home.
Well, thankfully, Bill, most of these tracks are, all of what, a half mile or less, so laps go quick.
Yeah, let's keep that away from Pocono if possible. Pace car is in. Single file start. Ryan Gaunt gets the jump. A little bit of a tap from Jake Erickson saying, let's go. And Erickson now under attack from Mr. Hard Charger. Cody Stidham, as Kobe goes underneath. He gets 1. Looking at 2. He can't get Gaunt yet.
Still trying that low line, but he's found the good stuff. So far, he's staying ahead of Erickson. Erickson's still challenging, trying to ride the middle line, which might actually work. We'll see.
3 different racing lines. Down low, Stidham. Up top, it's Gaunt. Watching everything now from far to back. In third, that is Jake Erickson.
And this, to me, Bill, is evidence that the high line is starting to slick off. It's getting too worn in. Stidham was way too shallow. He hit the berm, and he's going to hit the leader too.
Oh, and he's in the wall. And there was some lap traffic to go around as well. That's going to put our leader now is Jake Erickson. Ryan Gaunt. Here comes Chad Wheeler wheeling it down low in third. Boy, Stidham was on a run. He got, Joe, you called it. He got to the inside. The car got away from him. Great battle for the transfer spot right now. 2 to go.
You got to know where that berm is. You clip it, and it just sends the car flying to the outside. Oh, this battle on the high side is crazy, though.
This might be a case of who can be first to the finish line out of the final corner. They're working the white flag lap. Up top, it is Erickson. Down low, it is Wheeler. Don't think Wheeler's going to have the momentum, but he has the gap right now. He's not going to be able to hold off Erickson. Can he hold off Gaunt for a second? He does.
That was incredible. Goodman is going to take fourth with Stidham unfortunately finishing fifth, Hazlett sixth, Townsend seventh. Then you got the cars that wrecked out, Gibson, Smith, and Mitchell, who do not advance. Bill?
Boy, Joe, you were right. The track is really coming around, making for some great racing now. Time for the second semi. This one comes your way thanks to Sharp Advantage, specializing in customized racing safety products of the highest quality. Check them out at sharpadvantagesafetyproducts.com, Mr. P.
The pole sitter for the C main is going to be Colin Mitchell with Carter Batterby outside of him. Those two going to start in the transfer, but we've seen that is no guarantee at this point. Chase Randall will start third with Emerson Axum on the outside of that row. Hunter Brady starts P5 with Matt Ward in sixth. Colton Collins in seventh, Tyler Ransbottom in ninth. Then you've got Bo Brandon starting ninth, Brandon McCullum starting in 10th. And it looks like Matt Kaiser has joined us this time. He will be starting 11th in an 11-car field.
Name to watch out for would be Emerson Axum in the outside of row 2. But row 2, the outside, has had a hard time getting going. Right now, that's really going to put a lot of pressure on Carter Batterby. He sits outside of row 1. The last couple heats, the outside line has not gone, and it's been gobbled up early on. Chase Randall, another big name in the number 15 car, down on the inside of row 2.
Now, unfortunately, it looks like Axum was not going to join us, so this is way too late. By the time he joins, he's going to be a lap down, so effectively Axum is out of this event.
Yeah, he'd have to be quite a hard charger to make the transfer position from there, so that's going to move up. I believe in the outside of row 2 now. It's going to go to Matt Moore in the number 9 machine.
We're still urging everybody to get nice and tightened up here. Hopefully we don't get another called off green.
He's calling out numbers as if he was calling a square dance. Trunk is in. Great jump from Batterby this time on the outside. Not sure if he'll have the momentum. He's going to lose a little bit. Colin Mitchell way out in front, but watch the run now from Batterby.
Oh, and I get it. Whoa! Yeah, that low side, that was Matt Moore, and he's actually going to get the run off the corner and runs into Mitchell, who hits the wall.
Mitchell started on the inside of row 1. Is not going to transfer.
Guarantee you these drivers were watching that last race and taking notes. You can see how many of them trying the low side now.
Carter Batterby up front being chased by Matt Moore. Matt Moore had a great run. He started in 6th, is in the spot, and he likes it down low. Taking it in deeper than Beatnik Poetry is Matt Moore, but he cannot make it stick.
It's like a bit of a hybrid line might be kind of working. You see Batterby there starting high, chopping down low at the end. And now we're going to try the reverse, a slide job from Matt Moore. That is not working either.
Coming up on the lap car of Bo Brandon. Brandon gets the car out of the way.
the hard way.
Well, it kind of bounces back up, but everyone's going to clear him.
Ooh, Moore might have it this time.
Good run.
No.
Oh, he can't get it locked up.
The danger when you do those slide jobs is how much momentum you take in. He just barely clipped the wall. He's actually kind of lucky he's still going, because that could have sent him tumbling easily.
Chase Randall back in third saying, mix it up, boys. I'll be there in a minute to make it a party of 3.
Moore looks like he's struggling a little bit now because he's starting to lose out to Randall.
A little bit of blinking for Moore as well. Here comes Chase Randall. He's going to live up to his first name. Dives it down deep, gives a little bit of an elbow. Excuse me, I'm coming through Chase Randall up to the transfer spot.
This is certainly a missed opportunity for Matt Moore. He was looking very good. He was challenging for the lead. Something has gone wrong with that car.
Trying to get his rhythm down. Maybe it's the top line. Here he is making a slide job. He's going to get up in front. Doesn't clear Randall, and he ends up in the wall, losing another spot to Hunter Bradley. Now Brady is coming. Brady with a run. The lap car of Brandon McCullum getting out of the way.
There's so few laps left. I don't think Brady's got anything for Randall, and that definitely will keep him from giving anything.
He's in the wall. That's going to make it an easy. Well, I said Chase Randall's going to get there easily. Making him work for it, though. Here comes Matt Moore. He's back on the scene. Well out in front. Carter Batterfee out of 4. He's going to get the win and the transfer position. Let's go back to second, though. Randall's going to be able to hold off Moore, who puts it in the wall. Moore will have to settle for third.
That was one of the craziest ones we've seen yet. A lot of change between drivers, and I think Moore might have been a little frustrated after that one. So Colton Collins is going to take 4th, Mitchell 5th, and McCullum 6th. Then it's Brady who finishes 7th, 2 laps down, starting to get to cars, had big problems. It was Brandon who finishes 8th, Ransbottom 9th, Kaiser 10th, and as we said, Axum did not start.
It might have been the star of the show, but unfortunately his night is done as he will not make it into the A main. Time for the final semi here. This is going to be brought to you thanks to Clausen Marshall Racing. Racing in the honor of the great Brian Clausen. CMR specializes in grooming young racing talent for the upper levels of motorsports. Check him out at ClausenMarshallRacing.com.
Jet Barnes is going to have the pole with Aiden Perdue, and their pressure's on for Aiden today. Tyler Rust is starting 3rd with Dustin Davidson in 4th. Then the next row has Bryce Lucius to the inside, and Cannon Posey starting at 6th. Carson Batterby, the other Batterby, starts 7th. Preston Perlmutter in 8th. Evan Spalding 9th, and then Reed Whitney in 10th. Grayson Springer rounds out the 11 car field.
Our raw points leader, Aiden Perdue, sitting on the outside of row 1. He's got some work to do to make sure that he can get to the main event. Preston Perlmutter down there in the 8th position. Used to seeing him a little farther up. Another name that we'll have to keep an eye on. But Jeff Barnes will be in control of this one.
I think that's Jet Barnes.
Oh, excuse me. Want to take a guess how old Jet is, unless they're lying to me? Jet is 7.
Woo! And he's going to lead them off. Here they go, Bill.
Yeah. The 7-year-old is leading the entire field down into corner number 1. Being challenged up on top by Aiden Perdue. Jet gets together with Perdue. The kid is done.
All the way to the back. And this is great news for Perdue, but he's still fighting hard. I don't know how hard he wants to fight here, though, because he just needs to get to the big show.
It's the yellow and blue primal color cars of Tyler Rust out in front. But here comes Aiden Perdue now on the top side. He'll have the best of it. These guys comfortably racing for the lead.
And Perdue is on the bleeding edge. We've seen him clip the wall a couple times already. This time it's a lot cleaner, but oh boy, he was flirting with disaster. And now he's got the handle. He's starting to pull ahead of Rust.
They are still well ahead of Bryce Lucius in third. 15 car lengths back. Lucius is comfortable in third. Let's drop back, look at this battle a little bit back here for fourth. Preston Perlmutter, Carson Batterby on the top side. The car down low is Dustin Davidson.
We got two low, we got one high. Batterby just bounces it off the wall a little bit. Somehow keeps it together, but it's starting to lose him touch with Perlmutter. In fact, now it's losing him a position.
Best battle. Oh! Yeah.
Sorry, Davidson got shoved into the wall that time.
Best battle on the track. Everybody else locked into position. Let's go ahead and look at car in second position real quick, Director. Tyler Russ is coming up on a lapped car. This is always a little scary. Reed Whitney.
Oh, and just as we stepped away, Carson Batterby did ride the wall that time. He lost a ton of time, and I think he's going to lose another position to Spalding.
And sure enough, Whitney did make contact with the driver in second, Tyler Russ, and I think it also got the best of Bryce Lucius, who was in third. So lap traffic played a factor. Up front, Aiden Perdue, he's got one more to deal with as he's working. He'll get the... No, he's got a little go. This is
white flag now.
Grayson Springer getting out of the way. And now the white flag for Aiden Perdue. Tyler Russ comfortably in second. We'll see both of those advance, but your raw points leader, Aiden Perdue, he's been the star of the season so far, gets the win. Tyler Russ gets second.
Perlmutter's going to take third, with Davidson fourth, and then Carson Batterby manages to survive to a fifth, but he's done for the day. Spalding sixth, and the last car in the lead lap. Then it's Grayson Springer seventh, Reed Whitney eighth, Bryce Lucius ninth, Jet Barnes 10th, and Posey last on the field with that opening incident.
Well, all the preliminaries are out of the way, so now it's time for the main event. Brought to you by Hergot Real Estate. Serving the greater Indianapolis area, they specialize in helping racers find that home or shop of their dreams. HergotGroup.com. Joe.
Going to be Alex Bergeron, no surprise here, starting on the pole, but he's got to face off against Brennan Rogers this time in second. Parker Leak will be P3 with Logan Rumsey starting fourth and Jonathan Schaefer P5. Corey Day the outside of row 3. Chance Crum starts in seventh, then it's Kenny Miller in eighth and James Andrewchuk ninth. Rounding out the top 10, Bill, it's going to be Sean Mahaffey.
Final 6 drivers, Jake Erickson inside of Carter Batterby. Aiden Perdue, we just saw him advance. He'll be back in the Baker's Dozens position. Chad Wheeler flanks him. Chase Randall in 15th. All ribbons and curls in the Sweet 16th position. Tyler Rust. And they roll.
All right, we've started to see more variety in lines at this point, Bill. But we've also got cautions on now, and we've seen cars tangle really easily because of the variety in lines. So I think we're going to have a few slower laps during this 30-lap race.
Your pole sitter has been very impressive tonight, Alex Bergeron. Brendan Rogers on the outside of him has been impressive in every race he's appeared in. 30 laps, yellow flags will be out. 100 points to the winner. Heat races, those give you 10 if you're the winner. And 5 points if you're our fastest qualifier. Perfect day? Well, that's what Alex Bergeron's trying to get right now, of 115 points. Boy, race control really working hard trying to get everybody gathered up. The truck is in. Bergeron is gone. Let's see what Rogers can do with Leak on the inside. Rogers has a great run through the middle, comes right up behind Bergeron, and it's going to be Bergeron and Rogers right now. And the rest are
They're really scrambling. There's no caution. Everybody's still forward. Oh my goodness, it was a mess.
And Rogers was in the wall, loses all 14 positions behind him, and his day is done.
Now it's up to Chance Crum, but it's not looking good. It's already a 2-second gap. First battle we have is between Randall and Leak. That's for P5. And there's a lot of cars really taking a huge variety of lines.
Looking at that battle right now. Randall in 5th, leading the way of all those cars. They start to tighten up a little bit for 2nd position. Logan Rumsey trying to look inside of Chance Crum in the light car. They touch. Crum able to hang on to 2nd.
Yeah,
Rumsey take another try.
Oh. See, the problem is Crum is hanging just about half a lane off the bottom, and Rumsey thinks that there's something there. Now he's just going to abandon that and go to the top side. He's tired of getting pushed around.
That allowed Jonathan Schaefer to get in the mix as he watches from the popcorn position. Rumsey down low, Crum up high.
Seeing very little in the way of the middle line. Everybody's just running the 2 extremes, trying to basically suck up whatever little grip is left on those areas.
Chasing these guys is Chase Randall. He's coming. He's back in 5th. He's got Corey Day behind him, but those guys are really smooth, and they're gaining on the guys up front.
Schaefer's actually looking really strong. He's climbing all over the back of Rumsey, but both of them are losing out to Crum. It looks like right now that high line is the place to be, and I thought Schaefer was going to jump up to the high side, but he's still staying low.
Day really banging it off the wall back there in 5th. Crum has pulled away. All this going on behind Alex Bergeron, who's cooking with hot fish grease. 7 seconds ahead of him.
Last thing he wants right now is a caution to lose this lead. And Rumsey eventually made it work. He jumped up to the high side, and that's all he needed. But now he's going back down low again, and I'm not sure why.
Schaefer down low ahead of Corey Day. Chase Randall continues to catch up to these guys. Randall now tries to go low. Cannot get the momentum. Rumsey's going to have a good drive off, and he gets in front of Day.
Yeah, if I were these drivers, I would be staying away from that low line for now because it's just not offering anything. We got a caution.
There it is.
That is Batterby. Looks like it started in front of him, and he was sort of the innocent victim.
Well, I think Hayden Purdue might have gone in the wall 2 or 3 times and came down and got into Parker Leak, I think.
Yeah. Well, no, it almost looked like Leak drifted up into him, if anything, and then that sent Leak downwards, and that is what sent the Texan around eventually. Batterby coming out the worst of all 3. To make it extra exciting, Bill, they're saying they're going to do a double file restart on this one.
Why not? Well, when Brendan Rogers put it in the wall, that really opened it up for Alex Bergeron just to have it his own way. But the yellow flag comes out at about the halfway mark. Well, about 12 laps of racing when we go green. Chance Crum will be outside of Bergeron. Rumsey and Day.
I know it's going to be risky, but if I'm Crum or Rumsey, probably your best chance to have any hope of taking the win here is as soon as that green flag goes, try to chuck it down into one and pull a slide chop on Bergeron. Otherwise, you're just never going to manage to catch him. He has incredible pace out here.
Logan Rumsey in 3rd position. 12-year-old racing out of Manchester, Pennsylvania. My goodness, I'm I'm glad I'm not in this series because I don't think my ego could stand being beaten by all these youngsters. All right, we're going racing. It was a single file restart. Alex Bergeron gets the jump. Chance Crum is going to be under attack. Look at the dive down there from Rumsey. Cannot get the drive off, though.
And Corey Day's trying to stay in that mix, too. Thought maybe he would try the middle line, because we're not really seeing any try that. Oh, we got more cars around. We might have another caution. That is Purdue and Wheeler.
Not going to be a good day for Purdue. And might be fun to watch this from Tyler Rust if we get a second look at it as well on board us. He's the third car to the scene, and he gets a lot of this one.
Looks like it essentially started with Purdue, was trying to cut down low and shoot the middle. Unfortunately, you can't have eyes everywhere, and it was Wheeler who suddenly appeared to his inside.
And when they hit the wall, there's the kind of angle of the wall bounced them right back out of the track and a dead stop. Rust had no hope of slowing up because all of a sudden, there they were. Looking at the 21. And suddenly, boom!
Did get the car back out on track. We'll see how competitive it is, though.
So our leader has a little more work to do. Alex Bergeron under yellow, lap 19. Chance Crum had nothing for him on that restart. That was not the case for Logan Rumsey and Corey Day. They were all over the back of Crum. There's great fighting going on. Chase Randall in fifth. Those guys putting on a great show. Our hard charger is Chase Randall of this contest. Started in 15th, up 10 spots. Some of that thanks to attrition, but a lot of that done on the track.
It's interesting how it almost seems like a reverse of what we usually experience. It tends to be the lower splits that are a little crazy. The first heats see a lot of attrition, and then you get the best of the best out there, and they're pretty good at running a pack. This last race has been kind of messy, if I'm honest. I'm not sure if it's just because of the state of the track just getting so slick or what.
I think the state of the track, and from just looking at it from a layman's point of view, I think the track has become more racy as far as there's more lines. The early ones, it was all the top line. Time to go right now. Great jump from Bergeron. Let's watch Crum. He's comfortable now. The battle for third. The low line is Day. Up top is Rumsey. Rumsey with the momentum. He'll hang on to third.
Oh, but Day chucks it in there and absolutely shoves it to the wall. Somehow Rumsey keeps it out of Monaco. That was rude.
Crum comfortable in second and has visions of running down Bergeron right now.
Bergeron's jumping to the low line on the entry. He's coming up high outside. That's not the best of momentum on exit, but it's keeping the lead for now.
Crum can get it to work. He's got time as they work lap number 23. Rumsey, Day, Randall in the battle with Leak. Let's go back to those two cars back. In fact, we lost one. Chase Randall, put it in the wall. I could feel it coming. My spidey senses were tingling. He was in a battle with Parker Leak. That's no longer a battle as... Oh, we got a yellow because of that. Well, we'll get a chance to look at it.
They made contact multiple times through this corner. Leak was all over Randall's rear. And sometimes you got to race that close to get an opportunity, but this is the danger with that. Just with sim racing, you get those tiny little clips. Sometimes they react how you don't expect.
The truck is out. We're working lap number 25. We will get to finish this one. Well, we will get to go green, at least, before we get to the end. Not sure we'll finish under green. Hopefully that's the... Bergeron just does not need to see all these yellow flags.
Yeah. If they can get to the white flag, they will finish under green. That's all they need. After that, they cannot throw the yellow flag. And then it's a run to the finish.
Chance Crum looking to pick up a win in a feature. Well, that was work cut out for him today. Tries he might. Chance yet to get one of those. But this will help him in the points for sure.
I was going to say, effectively, it'll be a win for Crum because Bergeron not battling for the championship. He's just a guest driver. So everybody behind Crum is going to get fewer points in the end today.
Yeah, and bad days for Purdue and Rogers. It'll be
Purdue's still in this, though. He's still fifth.
You know, you're right. He's just been banging around so much.
Here we go.
Okay, the lights are off. The pace car will pull in. They're working lap number 27. It'll be 3 to go when they come across the line. Good jump from Bergeron. Crum has nothing for him.
Rumsey and Day going at it again. Remember, those two came together, and Rumsey's having all sorts of trouble at it, too.
That's Aiden Purdue on the high side trying to find a way, and he's going to get by both of them.
That's
Rumsey gets together, and there goes Purdue. Yellow flag comes out. I think we are done. Unless Bergeron runs out of fuel. The pace truck comes by. Bergeron is out in front. Crum is going to get second. Where are they going to score Aiden Purdue? It looks like third. We'll see if that's official. I believe it is.
Looks to be the case. Should be white flag this time, I believe.
Only thing keeping Aiden Purdue from a podium spot is his internet connection. He continues to blink, but he looks safe now.
Boy, with the number of times this race we've seen Rumsey and Day get together, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a bit of a rivalry brewing there.
So I don't have any stats on Alex Bergeron. We don't know much about him. He is the mystery man. Not sure if he's the shoveler or the Blue Raja. But whoever he is fast. The truck coming around, leading them for the checkered flag. Round number 6 from Knoxville of the CSI Spring Season Championship goes to Alex Bergeron in his debut appearance. Chance Crum tries he might to get his first feature win. Cannot do that. Third place goes to Aiden Purdue. Rounding out your top 5, Logan Rumsey and Parker Leak.
Jonathan Schaefer gets 6, with Chad Wheeler finishing 7th. Batterby is going to be 8th, with Miller 9th, and Andrechuk rounding out the top 10, Bill.
The final 6 positions, Sean Mahaffey, Chase Randall, Corey Day, Tyler Rust, Brendan Rogers. Boy, he's way down in 15th. Going to have to take another drop week for him. And Jake Erickson in 16th. All right, the racing is over here at Knoxville, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll come back to talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC. Streaming cyberspace into your place, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship Round 6 from Knoxville Speedway. We went over the finishing order with you before. We're not going to do that again, but we'll just announce that Alex Bergeron got the win. Chance Crum was in second. Now, I have the pleasure of getting to talk to the driver who came home in third. This is what you call making lemonade out of lemons, as he was struggling the whole time. We're talking about Aiden Perdue, our raw points leader. Aiden, I'm going to say congratulations. I know it's probably not the result you wanted, but man, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it was really, really hard back there. We can start at qualifying. I didn't do as good as I wanted. I had went in there thinking, I had a good mindset of it, and missed the line definitely because I thought it was a slider line, but undoubtedly it wasn't. So, we had to go to the heat race and started 7th, and we had to slowly work our way up. But once we did, we finished 4th in that. So, I knew we had some work to do. And, after that, I was kind of have a position of where we started, and that put us 2nd. So, I just kind of hung in there and ended up getting the win in that. So, that was a little battle we had. And then, in the feature, it was definitely a battle. We were back in the back and trying to work our way up. Well, we got wrecked again, so we had to start from dead last. And fortunately, we got up to the front, and then unfortunately, we had one of my favorite drivers I've seen race this series wreck out. So, that wasn't very good of Brendan Rogers. That was kind of sad seeing him wreck out. But, I look forward to racing with you guys up there in front.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm serious about this, if I have this wrong. But it looked like early on it was pretty much a one-line racetrack, because the top line seemed to be the place to go. Later on, the track really became much more fun as for a fan's point of view, because you guys could race more in more racing lines.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was more of a follow the leader type track. The top wasn't there, and the bottom really wasn't there. For some drivers, it was like Alex. He was definitely on the bottom. He could make it work. But when I went down there, say in my heat race, it really didn't work for me. But it was kind of all over. And then once we got into the B mains to the A mains, it was definitely on the top, and it was really fast. And then, there towards the end, it was really fast on the top. So, and especially in the feature, I worked the bottom a little bit. It seemed like that was fast, but it was like entry. They would catch me when I would go on the top, but then exit in 3 and 4, I could definitely pull back away from them. So, it was kind of a really fun track.
All right. Well, congratulations on scoring some more points. It's going to be an interesting championship. We move on to the second half of the season. Good luck for the back half.
Thanks for everything you guys do. You guys do an amazing job.
Thanks, Aiden. Always enjoy the compliment. Joe, I believe you get the pleasure of talking to our newcomer here, and he breaks in with a win.
Absolutely. Alex Bergeron winning every race that he was in tonight. Alex, it looked like you pretty much had control of things since the green dropped.
Yeah, it was a very dominant performance tonight. We had a quick time in qualifying, and it was a very decent lap. We had 3 laps of qualifying, so that helped it. 3 laps is always better. You always have a second chance to have a better lap. And the heat race was very smooth. And the feature time, slick track, that's the tracks I like. Slick tracks where throttle control matters. So we had a good job there. We had I think 7-second lead there at one point. So, I was getting the lap cars there, so that was impressive. But then the caution came out, and after that, a couple of cautions, and that restacked the field. And Chance Crum was coming for me. I'm sure he was fast up top, but I tried once there, and I don't know. I didn't feel like trying to push myself and wreck for staying up front. So I ran the bottom and got it done.
Yeah, apparently. Did any of those restarts worry you at any time, or did you feel was pretty in hand?
Every start I try to get the bottom line where the out of turn 4, keep getting the moisture in the middle of turn 3 and 4. There was no moisture down low, so the right would be in the slick, and it would be very tough to start the race. So restart the race, I should say. Every restart I try to be confident, and it paid off.
Now, from what I'm told, you actually race for CSI Shocks. How did you come to be involved with them?
Garrett Andrews sent me a message, and he was wanting to be involved with me in the World Championship, and that's where it all started. CSI is good company for Shocks and everything, and I think they do an amazing job, and for the community as well.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the victory. Will we be seeing any more of you this season?
Oh, absolutely. I will try to do every Wednesday night, try to be there for CSI and, try to represent them pretty well.
Best of luck in the World Championship. And again, congratulations tonight.
Thank you. And I would like to thank all my partners, newbie.com, Saksha Bikinis, BK Designs, CSI Shocks, Max McLaughlin Racing, and Meyer Inc. Everybody for supporting me, my girlfriend as well. And you guys for broadcasting, and CSI Shocks for bringing these races up.
That was Alex Bergeron, our winner. Bill is the professional, and glad he thanked his girlfriend.
Yeah, if you want any confirmation, he's a pro racer. He got in all the sponsor plugs and his girlfriend in the mix as well. Hey, that's going to do it for us, but stick around here while I tell you how this all came to be. GSRC would like to thank everybody who sponsors this event, especially what Alex was just talking about, CSI Shocks, for making this broadcast a reality. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream cyberspace into your place. Hey, June Lalonde is the name that provides us with our iconic music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. CSI Shocks spring season returns in 1 week. That's going to be May 8th. Chop up the onions and shred the cheese because we're going to the Chili Bowl for midget racing. GSRC will be there. We hope that you join us. Sliding across your screen now are just some of the upcoming GSRC broadcasts, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. If you want more information about us, I got lots of options. GlobalSimRacingChannel.com, Twitter, GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, Instagram at GSRC_gram. Hey, also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that big red button so you don't miss a thing here on GSRC. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Joe, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Alex Bergeron makes his debut in the series, picking up his win, round number 6, from Knoxville Speedway. With that said, we're off to have fun storm of the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.